Hey YouTube, how is it going today? In this video, I want to go over Humbl Incorporated, ticker symbol HMBL. I've been reading a bunch of rumors about possible NFT news coming out, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. And then I want to go over their chart and see if we can see what could be coming next. And then after that, I'm going to get into some of your questions. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. All right, so let me get into this news/rumor here. I've been reading on social media that Humbl Incorporated could be planning some big NFT announcement during the NFL draft tomorrow. Now, in my opinion, with how big the NFL draft is, this could be a genius PR move. Now, I don't know what the rules are with college players signing deals before they're drafted, but I think since they're leaving school anyway, there really should be no risk, at least not with the big name players, and I think a Zach Wilson NFT would be pretty cool. Now, this is all rumors and speculation, but I thought it was a pretty interesting one, and it would make a lot of sense for Humbl if they wanted to get some more exposure during one of the bigger sporting events of the year. Now, again, this is all speculation, and I found nothing concrete. But if you've heard anything about this, please let me know about it down in the comments section, and especially if you've seen anything concrete, please let me know about that. All right, so let's head over to the charts and see what has been going on lately with Humbl Incorporated. But of course, first couple things, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do all of your own research before buying any stocks. See on my video, this is all just my opinion. And number two, if I could ask you for a favor, if you could hit the like button for me to support the channel and help me with the YouTube algorithm, I would greatly appreciate that as well. But all right, let's get into this chart. And the last video, I believe it was when Humbl was coming down to this 200-period simple moving average, and I talked like we should get a halfway decent bounce off that, and I expected to actually get up to this 8-period exponential moving average at least, but it fell just short of that and has started to taper off. Now, the good news is it is finding support at that 200-period simple moving average again. We got a little bit of a bounce today, and it found resistance at that 8-period exponential moving average. So, good news is that we found support at the 200. The bad news is that it bumped its head up against the 8-period exponential moving average, and it is finding some resistance today. That's why I like to purchase these stocks usually when they're above all of these moving averages, because, you know, they can really be a big obstacle once you get below them. Sometimes they can take days, weeks, or even longer to get above them. And since this is above 3 of the major ones that I follow, it's going to take a little bit of work to get above it. Doesn't mean all is lost. And what it does mean is that if you are happy to be accumulating Humbl, if you're a long-term believer in this stock, if you like accumulating it around this level, you're probably going to get a little bit longer to think about it if you want some more. But I do think that this area is probably going to hold, at least for a while. Now, when it was coming down to this area before, if you remember from my previous videos, I thought for sure it was probably going to break through. And it did, but I do think that this one is probably going to hold. I can't see it breaking that much below it without more buying coming into the market, because it looks like the selling is really starting to taper off. You know, we had some pretty decent big selling days just before it hit the 200-period simple moving average, but that could be some climax selling. You know, this could be the area where it starts getting accumulated again. Only time will tell. But I just get the feeling that this area is probably going to be one that holds versus this one. When it was coming down to this right around this 270 area, it looked like that was probably going to break. Now, if we go to the 15-minute chart and get a closer look at the price action, we can see when it broke this level right around 275, 280, and came down to this 200-period simple moving average, we had a little bit of a bounce, started to roll back over, but it held that low from the 20th and the 21st. Now, this, of course, yellow line is the 8-period exponential moving average on the hourly chart. This is the 200 on the 15-minute chart. So it is right there looking like it could be breaking above it, and that would be a good sign. So, what is Humbl going to do in the next couple of days? That is pretty tough to tell. The fact that it's finding resistance at that 8-period exponential moving average tells me it's probably going to trend lower at least for one more day, but all it really needs is a news catalyst. And if that NFT rumor does happen to be true, and get some pretty decent exposure, that might be enough of a catalyst to get some more excitement back into Humbl Incorporated and get this thing started back in the right direction. Now let's go to the weekly chart real quick and see, the long-term trend, and we can see that 50-period simple moving average on the weekly is still holding, and that is very important. So the fact that it's still holding that is a very good sign. This could just be a multi-week swing low before it heads higher. Only time is going to tell on that. It looks like a lot of enthusiasm has started to come out of this stock, but that could change with a a big news event, or just maybe a new product release, anything that could shoot a little bit of life back into Humbl. That could change this pattern going down and turn it right back around pretty quickly. So Humbl Incorporated, in my opinion, is probably going to hold this level. I'm not as sure about this level as I was about this level breaking here around 275. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to hold this level. We will see. I'll do another update next week and try to give you my opinion on where it could be going next. All right, so now I'm going to get into the questions, and I have a question from Jason. He's asking about 2 different stocks, and I know I had a couple other questions, and I couldn't find them. I don't know if they fell off or what, but if you did ask a question and I didn't get to it, please just ask it again, and I'll try to get to it in the next video. But Jason was asking about AITX, which is Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions. This one went on a big run several months ago. I remember hearing about this one quite a bit. And it has since been tapering off from a high of about 29 cents to the trough of about a week or so ago. So it fell down about 82, 84%. So that's a huge drop. Of course, it's just a 10-cent stock right now, so you got to expect huge volatility. Now, it does look constructive at the moment. It did not fall all the way down to the 200-period simple moving average, but you can see this moving average was just coming down super fast. And if I back out the chart a little bit, you can see this thing has just been reverse splitting into the oblivion. So you have to be super careful with these stocks, because all they do is kind of send them up a little bit. They put out some rumors, and then once they get people to jump in, they just drive the price down and keep doing those reverse splits that unfortunately just destroys people's equity. So with these lower price stocks, this is why I tell you guys, when you're trading these super low price stocks, you can't fall in love with them. Just when they start making these beautiful patterns like it did back here in December, let me go back. It doesn't mean you can't make money on these stocks. It just means you have to be careful. You can't fall in love with them, because almost none of them end up being huge winners, that just go up for years and years. A lot of them, unfortunately, are just pump and dumps. Now, that being said, you can still trade these profitably. You look for patterns like this and then wait for this little green candle right here to print, and then you can jump on board and ride these huge gains, and you can keep doing it until it stops making this pattern. I mean, what I like to do is buy it right around here and probably feed it into this area, or at least some of it, and then try to re-enter here. I mean, that's, of course, looking back in retrospect, that's the perfect way to play this stock. And like a lot of these stocks that move fast, it's not that simple, but that's what I try to do. Try to buy around this green candle right here, and then try to feed it into the market and hopefully wait for it to do it again. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I always make sure not to fall in love with these. But anyway, this one could be setting up for another run, because it did come all the way back down, started to go sideways, made a bottom, now it jumped back above these moving averages. So it could be at the start of another run up. If it gets above this 50-period simple moving average and continues to rise up until these other moving averages catch up to it, the 8-period, which is the white, and the purple, which is the 21, this thing could be headed up to a new high. This thing could be breaking 30 cents. Who knows? This is an artificial intelligence technology solution, so it's got a pretty catchy name. I could see this one probably maybe going on another run just because the name sounds so cool. But you never know. That's what you want to wait for. Get above this 50-period simple moving average, and then wait for these moving averages to catch up, and hopefully you can give it a slingshot a little bit higher. Unless you've done, tons and tons of research on a stock like this, I would just play it for the short term. If you know this stock inside and out and you believe it for the long term, then that's your decision, and you could have a monstrous big winner here because it sounds cool. At least the name does, but unfortunately sometimes these don't pan out, but it does look like it's setting up for another nice run. All right, and Jason also asked me about ASTI. ASTI is another low-price stock. This one is trading at about 2.5 cents at the moment, but you can see very similar pattern, like what I was talking about with the previous stock. If you go back in time, this is how you want to play them. I mean, you'd just be surprised how often this plays out, I can't stress this pattern enough. I'm switching brokers to TD Ameritrade because my broker stopped letting me trade these lower price stocks, and frankly, I am missing them because a lot of these are making just beautiful, beautiful patterns. And once I get over to TD Ameritrade, I'm going to start playing these more often, or I should say probably at all, because I can almost never buy any of these stocks now with Interactive Brokers and TradeStation. But once I get over to TD Ameritrade, hopefully I'll be able to buy some of these, and then we can try some of these types of stocks together. So if you like trading these lower price stocks, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I do plan on trading a lot more of these, at least in the short term. But you can see this type of pattern. It just plays out all the time. But getting back to Jason's question, this is kind of making a rather similar pattern. So I don't know if you're in these already, Jason, or not, or if you're just thinking about getting on board, but I would wait till it clears this 50 and holds. If it clears this 50 and holds, then you got a pretty good possibility that it could be going to a new all-time high here past 10 cents. Now, if you do get in here up above the 50 and you get an immediate failure, if it breaks below this low right here, that would be my signal personally to get out of the stock and move on to the next opportunity. Well, like I said, I haven't looked into either one of these companies very deep at all, so I don't know if these are big-time winners. Just my rule of thumb with these lower price stocks that are like 10 cents or lower are almost always, unfortunately, kind of like a pump and dump, a scam. I don't know what else you would call them, but I hate to use that phrase because that sounds so terrible, but that's unfortunately what they end up being. But Jason, I hope that helps. Looks like if you've been in these for a while, you got a knack for finding them before they take off. But if you're still holding them, you just have to get a little bit better about feeding your stock into the market and reaping some of these quick profits, because these are some pretty good gains when you compound them on top of each other. But hopefully I answered your question, Jason. If it didn't, leave me another comment on a specific thing you might have been asking about these stocks. And if any of you guys have any other questions on any other stocks, I'd be happy to take a look at them. Just leave them down there in the comments section. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.